Hi everyone, welcome to Compass 3 of the Lodestone journey, the mystery of the final gland. This is where science, spirituality, and sacred embodiment meets at the gateway of perception. Today, Lyndon Thorpe, spiritual mentor, author, and the creator of Lodestone, shares her insights into the powerful center of intuition and awakening. She pre-recorded the Q&A session to ensure seamless, immersive experience with her two wonderful guests, Fitz and Zoe Spencer. Both are natural health professionals and her partners in Zinzino. I'll be here throughout to ensure and receive your perceptions, your reflections, and also your questions. Please ensure to drop them on the chat and I will make sure they reach LinkedIn. Now let's enter the sanctuary and explore the universe together.
And it's a transformational product. Hi there, I'm Lyndon Thorpe, and today I'm doing a Q&A on Lodestone 1. It's a product I've created, and it's a transformational product. And I'm really excited because I've got my good friends Fitz and Zoe Spencer here to join me in the studio, and we're going to have a chat about it all. I think they're both very interested in what I've created, which is a bit of a milestone. So welcome anyway to YouTube people and also to LinkedIn people. We'll be streaming live to both of you. So welcome, and let's get started. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to give just a short presentation to get the ball rolling, and then we're going to chat about this so that anyone watching can really learn what it's all about. And if you want to know more about this, we've done 5 Q&As on it. So if you'd like the links for the previous ones, then just let me know and I'll send them to you. I'm working through the compasses because whether you know it or not, human beings have 4 inner compasses. When I say compass, they are really centers of energy, they are nerve centers and so on. They really exist anatomically. They're not just a figment of my imagination at all. So what I've been doing is working through all the compasses. And just briefly to tell you, the first compass is up in the brain stem, and between the eyebrows, the pineal gland, which is really important gland for letting in light to the body. And the second compass is really the heart and lungs. This is a major area of the body, and it is a tremendous powerhouse. I don't know if you know, but the heart transmits electromagnetic vibrations 60 times stronger than the brain. So really, when we are focusing on the brain all the time, when we're so intellectual about everything, we're neglecting one of our greatest assets, which is the heart. And of course, this is why people start to get depressed and go downhill, burnt out, and so on. So those 2 compasses have been covered already. So let me know if you'd like to know more about them. So today I'm going to talk about the 3rd compass, which is the solar plexus. And this picture here gives you a little idea where it is. It's just under your breastbone at the center of the body. And it's known as the sun, solar, the word says it all. And it's really a concoction of nerves that meet at that point. It's amazingly important. It's the center of intuition, which maybe, many of us have forgotten all about intuition. people know it as the sun of the body, and it's also, and from my point of view, very importantly, the center of gravity of your body. So when you're standing up, I do a lot of body work with people, and when you're actually standing, it's the place where you find your balance, whether it's from side to side balance or back to front balance. And we'll have a look at this with Fitz and Zoe afterwards to show you more about it. But yeah, you can see the solar plexus really is all about fire. And in the ancient world, fire was such an important teacher, especially in Vedic wisdom, in ancient Indian wisdom. And it became very important. It's also extremely important in Japan, where I live. And most temples have the most fantastic fire ceremonies where they burn all the impurities and they just go up into the heavens and are purified. So here in Japan, fire is a huge thing, and lots of fire ceremonies. But let's just move on a bit. Now, yeah, this just gives you a little bit more information. Just above the navel, as I said, it's called the City of Jewels by people who do yoga. If you've done any yoga, it really is the center of everything. And the anatomical name is the celiac plexus. It really connects with the stomach and the pancreas and the adrenals, and it's all about transformation. So it's also about digestion. So it's closely related to anything medical or any natural medicine too. Very important center. Next week, just to fit this all together for you, I'm going to go to the fourth compass, which is right at the base of the body, and it's called the base chakra. And this is all about security and stillness and anchoring and really embodiment. So if you want to know more about these compasses, please join me next week. Yes, fire. This is the god of fire, the Vedic god of fire, called Agni. And he was seen as the divine messenger between the human realm and the realm of the gods. So you can see where all this has come from in the very distant past. Fire is so spiritual, it's so purifying. And some people see the solar plexus as the kind of inner altar of transformation. And it engenders sun rituals, mantras, lots of breath work that people do, started here with the solar plexus. So it's called the inner sun, and therefore it really represents your inner worth, your willpower, your courage, and it's all about your personal authority and your action in the world. So really, it's so important because it's all about clarity. So we'll talk about that in a moment. It's in alignment with the third eye, which I mentioned before, which is between the eyebrows. It is called the pineal gland, or the third eye. And it's all about vision. So if you are in business, especially if you're in business, you need vision to be successful. Hi there, I'm Lyndon. Compasses, if they are really through your ancestral money, I'm finding, they've got kind of inner altar of that transformation. And it engenders sun rituals, mantras, lots of breath work that people do, started here with the solar plexus. So it's called the inner sun, and therefore it really represents your inner worth, your willpower, your courage, and it's all about your personal authority and your action in the world. So really, it's so important because it's all about clarity. So we'll talk about that in a moment. It's in alignment with the third eye, which I mentioned before, which is between the eyebrows. It is called the pineal gland, or the third eye, and it's all about vision. So if you are in business, especially if you're in business, you need vision to be successful. So really having healthy solar plexus and a healthy pineal gland will align your inner compasses. So yeah, is connected very strongly with these two centers. If your solar plexus is underactive, then you're going to feel very insecure. You're going to feel very tired. And you're going to be kind of overwhelmed by people. And actually, I had a period of having an underactive solar plexus, and I was I couldn't say no to people. And I wore myself out and ended up having to take 3 months rest. So this is where burnout happens, because we've got no control. If the solar plexus isn't working properly, we can't control things properly. However, on the other hand, if it's overactive, then you can be quite aggressive. You might be a control freak. And yes, burnout could be another possibility here. Another kind of connection here is the relationship with the gut. Yeah, if you are feeling shame, people do, especially about money, I'm finding. They've got guilt about it. They don't have a good relationship, maybe, with money. So this creates tension in the gut. And the solar plexus can really help you overcome that if you get it in good condition. So I'm all about embodiment. Yeah, and I'm all about spirituality. But recently I've joined forces with Zinzino, which is a very scientific organization. So I'm so happy to blend the two together. Zinzino can deal with blood testing you and giving you the right oils to balance your body out, whereas I can talk about posture and anatomy and chakras and fire. And to me, the two work really well together because we've got intelligence. And human beings have really lost their native intelligence because they're so facing outwards. They're always worried about appearances, they're always worried about outer success. But in fact, success, real success, has to start inside. And that's why I'm an inside out transformation mentor. And your body never lies. Your mind will tell you all sorts of fibs, but your body never lies. And remember that your body carries very ancient intelligence right through your DNA, right back through your ancestral lineage. And this is just not to be ignored at all. So, yeah, very important. Now, my practices within Lodestone, which is an audio transmission product, so you get an ebook, a long, quite long, detailed ebook relating all these things together, bringing the science, bringing the physical work together. And then you go through the audio transformations. You can do that for 30 days. 30 days is the kind of minimum for real transformation inside, because the brain is hardwired. And we are conditioned, so heavily conditioned from the age of 5 to please other people, to fit in, to meet expectations of our societies and communities and families and so on. So the brain is hardwired. Therefore, it takes about 30 days to really rewire it with these new ideas and sensations. So, yeah, we use a one, and this is all about, like, is so important, and this is all about fire. And a really good thing to do is, if you're feeling stressed, it really aligns your compasses. Because it tones up the keep it all locked in. You'll go crazy, you know, and drink a lot or jump off a cliff or something. But if you really stay with yourself and hum, it calms everything down. We'll try it later. Of course, posture is so important. I'm an Alexander teacher, I'm a Feldenkrais teacher, and I've been working with people's spines for years to get them to use their spine properly, naturally, and to keep them away from the inner flame of emotions. So emotions can really burn you, you know. But if we step back, and if we, in terms of the body, if we lengthen the spine, send the crown up into the heavens and the feet down into the earth, then we get away from that incredible flame that emotions can generate. And another thing I really recommend is journaling. So if you feel stressed, go and find your perfect notebook on a beach somewhere and hum a lot and write down what you're feeling, and you'll feel very good almost immediately. Just a few tips. So this is Lodestone. I'm very proud of it. It's my first digital product. It's the culmination of all my trainings, my body work, my indigenous wisdom, because I've lived with Aboriginals in the Australian desert. I've learned a lot from them. It's also now encompassing Zinzino and all of their real approaches to natural health. And yeah, just to show you that slide once more, here are the 4 compasses that I mentioned earlier. So you can see that those 4 compasses, if they are really quivering towards true north, then you'll be in peak condition. But if they're slightly off, a bit west, a bit east, then you're going to find you're not performing as well as you could. And that's a shame. So Lodestone is here to really help people become in superb condition by recalibrating these inner compasses. Just finishing off here with a little quote. You are sun, not to burn, to illuminate. So I feel that every human being I come across is a sun, has this incredible potential to dazzle and really illuminate everything around them, to radiate that brightness. But it doesn't happen so often nowadays because people are misaligned. They're not in alignment physically or spiritually often. And of course, they focus on mindset. Mindset is the be all and the end all. Well, it's not, I tell you. If your inner compasses are not aligned, then whatever you do in your mind will not make any difference at all. And you'll still find yourself in a bad place. So, Fitz and Zoe, what do you think so far?
So far, very interesting. Yeah, I've heard about like chakras and from the past, and as a young adult, I was interested in crystals and the energy, and so it's interesting. And what you just mentioned now about mindset, I've been focusing on mindset for about the last 12 months, and also for whenever you talk about being, you mentioned the word depressed and other anxieties, it's interesting to see how this would affect, and I'm particularly thinking of family members, you know, how would they be open to trying a program to align them, because there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of shame through them. So that's interesting, especially when you mentioned about how the body doesn't lie.
Yeah.
I'm particularly looking at Fitz at the minute on that one, because you've been having some not health issues, but just dizziness and other bits that you like.
Yes.
So
yes, you mentioned that to me. Yeah, you mentioned that to me. That's, well, it's all to do with aging as well, isn't it? Not that you're aging, Fitz. You look like a spring chicken. You really look like a spring chicken. But, you know, yes, I'm pretty ancient actually. But as we get older, yes, of course, things really interfere with our natural balance. And in fact, I myself, this product Lodestone really has helped me so much, because as I've got older, I've found the changes in my body and in my moods. And not that I'm a moody person at all, but have watched myself losing patience, which I've never done in my life. I've always been a really patient person. So yes, of course, as we get older, the systems get stressed, they're worn out. And yeah, you definitely need something to restore your balance. Fitz, the fact that you feel dizzy is a real indicator to me, because I know that your blood pressure is probably fine and we can't find anything physical if you go to a mainstream doctor. But I can tell you, if you are feeling dizzy, that is your compass set up. Your compasses are out. Something is out somewhere. And the body will show you that by giving you dizziness. And if you look at what I've just talked about, you know, the way the spine is our central tower, it's incredible, really, that we've got this amazing structure in our bodies. If you're feeling dizzy, then of course your central structure must not be centered in some way. And of course, stress will do this. And I know you've had a lot of stress recently. So, yeah, I really recommend doing something like this. Of course, I recommend you do this because it's the best. Because, yeah, we've researched this. There's nothing like it. Nobody is bringing the spiritual with the scientific and with the bodywork stuff. We can't find anything else that's doing this at all. So it's a unique product, as far as I know.
Yeah, because it's funny when you mentioned that about the body doesn't lie, and we tend to block it and tend to push through it, and it gets worse. Sometimes when we just get out, have a walk, you know, sometimes I think I've got so much to do, then I get aggy, and then I'll go for a walk with Wilson. And by the time I've come back, that fresh air, that sometimes I don't even put anything in my ears, like earpods. I just walk, hear the trees, hear the birds, just so that, and as I'm walking, that breathing's coming through. So yeah, but sometimes we don't give it the credit what it deserves, to understand that pulling away, sometimes for yourself,
I don't know,
listen to your body.
It the credit, we just don't give it the time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
We don't give it the priority.
That's right. We don't make it a priority. I think you're really right there. And I think this whole wave of, well, you know, we're in such a digital chaos really at the moment, aren't we? With everything evolving and the new economy, you know, the personal economy becoming so important. And I think that this is the time when people are burnt out, when they're having heart attacks left, right, and center, you know, that we're going to need to prioritize the body. And that's why I've created this, really. This product, I've been practicing with it now for 6 months on LinkedIn. So on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I do 3 sessions live, and I've been using the Lodestone method to guide people. It's an audio live, and I've had great response. And in fact, 3 or 4 people said, "Why aren't you here every day?" So I said, "Well, it's a bit difficult because I've got other things to do." So somebody actually said, an entrepreneur who is a real investor, he said, "Make a product. I'll invest in you." This was someone on LinkedIn who I know quite well. So I did. And now, now quite a few people are using the product, so they're able to sustain this over the weekend.
Is it a subscription model? Is it a subscription model?
No, so lifetime license.
Oh,
so
okay.
you get the lifetime license. It's one purchase. And you join, when you've signed up, you get access to a sanctuary. And the sanctuary is where you'll find all the audio recordings and the ebook. And you'll have also a place to talk to me there. So if you're like, for example, Fitz, if you suddenly feel dizzy while you're doing this, you can say, "Look, I've just done day 2 and I felt very strange. What is it?" And I can help you to find out what it is. So it's a direct line to me, but it's a lifetime license. So you can go on practicing this. And that's what I really want to see people doing, because 30 days is very little time, really, in terms of restoring balance and rewiring the brain. So it's using a different system altogether. At the moment, we're so intellectual, so everything's up here. You know, it's all around the eyes, of course, screens, all around the head. You're probably having headaches as well. Too much screen exposure does that. And so what Lodestone does is it takes you right down out of your head immediately, because you're listening. It's only audio. There are no videos of me doing, you know, acrobatics or anything. It's just audio. It's just audio. So the human voice is how we come into the world, isn't it? You know, our mothers, you know, make wonderful sounds when we're babies, and then they read stories to us. And the human voice is so important in the first few years of development. So it's audio only. And I guarantee within 30 seconds, you will be down in your core. And so once you're in the core...
Per day, is it? How long? Yeah, like if you were to do it for the 30 days, for me to do anything for 30 days would be a good... thing for consistency. Yeah, so how much time do you need to dedicate to it?
The sessions, yeah. Okay, well, it's between 25 and 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
That's it. But of course, if you do it twice a day, that would be even better. And, you know, if the family are having trouble, you could have a nice family meeting and do it together or something like that, if they come back at some point. But yes, it's just 30 minutes. And it's very much repetitive. So there's there are natural sounds at the beginning of every track to really help bring you down into your core. Then some instructions about how to sit or stand. So it really looks at your spine and your posture for a few seconds. Then I go into the actual instructions, and there are 3 stages. In simple terms, there are 3 stages. Stage 1 is where you channel your mind energy, because remember, we want to get you out of that intellectual grip that we're all in. So you channel your mind energy into a laser beam, and you project that beam outside your immediate environment. Okay, so that's stage 1. I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil it. Stage 2 is where you bring that laser beam inside and you do the activities inside. And then finally, you come inside your body. And I talk you through your whole body, from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. And by the end of the session, you have lengthened your spine by at least 1 centimeter. That's just the power of the mind. And if you do that, you'll never be dizzy again, because the spine is your central axis. And if that's really happy and lengthened, and you're really kind of well balanced, you found your center of gravity. Yes, I mentioned that in this little talk about the solar plexus. If you put your hands on your solar plexus, which is just below your breastbone, okay, and if you move slightly forward and then slightly back, you might want to try it, Fitz, yeah. Just a little bit forward and a little bit back, you'll reach a point where you feel really comfortable. That's your natural back to front balance. Then you do the same from side to side. So you just move a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, a few times, and then you'll find that side balance. Then you'll be fine.
Easy. That's weird.
Right, there you are, you see. So then you'll find your center of gravity. That's your center of gravity. And I think when you do this very simple little thing, and you might try doing this kind of every day while you're sitting at breakfast or something, you set your center of gravity. It's a tiny little adjustment backwards and forwards. And if I was with you, I'd put my hands on you to encourage you to find that central balance. And then you do the side to side balance. And what happens is you immediately sense your spine. You can really feel your spine. And this awareness will stay with you during your day. And by day 30, I guarantee you, you'll be using your body in a really different way. Plus your Zinzino input, you get by 30 days, you're going to be skyrocketing. And you're going to be feeling so great.
So could that help with somebody that has a physical back pain?
Yes, it's excellent because especially, and this is next week's Q&A, especially I mentioned today the base chakra. Okay, we call it the low back, and people, especially if they're in the restaurant business or something like that, and they're on their feet, back aching, and if you do, this practice will really sort that out, because I take you down, I bring you up from the feet into the base chakra in your mind with your envisioning powers, and you bring the heat and light of your mind, which is immensely powerful. That's why I call it a laser. If we're not distracted with the visual screen thing, then we center the mind, and it's so powerful. And so I will bring you into that base chakra, and this is where we generate all our energy. So if you've got back pain there, it's a real symbol or signal that you're losing your energy, and that generator is somehow blocked. And so once you do the full practice, and we go all the way right up to the crown of the head and right up into the sky, then your whole system will be aligned. And Lodestone works with your nervous system, really. And I've researched this very deeply. I have 3 main nervous systems. This works with the eneric system. And so by recalibrating the compasses right down the length of your body, then you are calming down that nervous system. And the vagus nerve, which starts here and comes down here and then goes right down into the gut, will give the correct feedback to the brain. And it will say, okay, it's all right now. You don't need to be dizzy. You don't need to have any pain. See, pain is only in the brain. It rhymes. Pain is only in the brain. It's only here that we can sense pain. The body doesn't know that concept at all.
Right. How do you deal with people that have ADHD?
Very well.
sticking to it for long enough, and I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about other people, that for half an hour to stay focused enough. Yeah.
Yes. Now I have worked with ADHD people, I've worked with autism, I've worked with every syndrome you can think of, but particularly ADHD. And that's another reason I created Lodestone, because it's only listening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only the vagus nerve that is initially stimulated or toned up through that process of listening. For anybody with a concentration problem, this really grabs them. It grabs them hard, and they just go with it. And I know it will work with ADHD. And I think, Zoe, like 9 out of 10 people are ADHD these days. We've got too many options.
Yeah.
In life, haven't we? Our concentration is all over the place because there's so much going on.
So much stimulation, isn't there?
Too much stimulation, and we have to make so many decisions all the time, not just like once a day. But we're constantly making decisions, aren't we? And so I feel that for ADHD people, because of the focus on the body and because of the listening, and actually, I'll tell you a secret. Well, it won't be a secret once I broadcast this, but my voice puts people very easily. I've won a couple of awards for my voice because it's comes from the heart. And on audio, several people already have said, "Oh, the moment I hear your voice, I'm gone. That's it."
So don't do it at night in bed.
That's right. So I think that's a kind of magical quality. Yeah, sure. So for ADHD, I worked as a music therapist for a long time, using lots of types of music, but music making rather than listening to music. And I always use my voice, singing voice. And I always got the very best responses from ADHD, autism syndrome people from the vocal work. And in the end, they are. It's again going back to mother and rhythms and being rocked as a baby. That's in our genes, And so the human voice just takes people right back there. And so I had my greatest victories with autism, especially with serious autistics, through vocal work. So I really recommend it. Sorry, I'm a very pushy salesperson, aren't I? This does not bode well, but I know I can talk to you too in this way.
Yeah.
So.
There's been some great results with the balance concept, the balance oil with autism as well. So pairing the two together, you'll get some phenomenal results with people.
Superb. Well, this is what I'm really delving into. There's so much to read in the file libraries that are on Cinzino.
Yeah.
I only got through about a third of it so far, but I've got a lot further to go. But this would be fantastic because it's one of my real missions in life to work for handicapped people, and especially the autism syndrome, because I did my master's thesis on autism, actually, and how music therapy can really change the whole thing. And so, yeah, I'm so excited to combine the two. And if I can work with more people with any kind of disorder, I've worked as a speech therapist too, for people who couldn't speak at all. They're called elective mutes, and there's some trauma in their background. They won't speak, then will never speak, but they will sing. So I've got quite a lot of elective mutes suddenly bursting into song, and everybody in the room, tears are flowing, because this person has never spoken or hasn't spoken for years. So that's so wonderful. I really, really want to take Zinzino and my Lodestone together into as many, disordered environments as possible to get people to find an anchor. Yeah.
I'm really fascinated about how the combination is going to play out. Really fascinating, and especially when we don't show time and we don't think about.
All right, so lots of you have been asking about this her wealth thing.
Yeah.
The body. We always think about what we put in. We always think about the gym, walking, whatever, but we don't think about being still, listening to the body, understanding the body. We don't, and I suppose sometimes when that fast pace that we've got, it's go to work, sort the kids out, do this. We're not having center. What about us? What about us? What about our body? What about our sense? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've all got to do this. We've all got to recognize that if we give the body just 30 minutes attention each day, and I don't mean at the gym, because the gym is okay, but very often sports type routines totally ignore the subtleties of the nervous system. And so, Fitz, I know you like going to the gym and you feel you're losing your energy, and that and it in the end, you know, they are. It's again going back to mother and rhythms and being rock. If you start to do Lodestone, that the gym doesn't crack it because it's too vigorous. Yeah, and the stillness, you've put your finger on it, the stillness is so important. And there's no stillness in our lives at the moment. You know, we're crazily rushing around, and with Zinzino and with Lodestone, I think our mission is to really slow people right down and let them really calibrate their inner compasses. And from that point, once they are really balanced, then the attraction of wealth and business and networks and what all the things we're out there trying to build and accumulate and so on, they just flow to us.
So have you had like testimonials from people that have had a transformation once they've done like a month, 2 months? How long? What?
Well, it's so new. I only released it on June the 1st.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Yeah, it's really, really new. That's why I'm here kind of educating about it, because it's so unique. And, you know, people, just as you said, they don't really regard the body as important. It's kind of disposable to some people, I think, the way they live, you know, drinking too much, drugs, you name it. The body is not important to them at all. But, you know, once we start to really go inside, then we see things in a very, very different way. And part of the transformation that has been acknowledged, trials, which I've done on LinkedIn, public sessions 3 times a week for 7 months now, every single week, haven't missed one. I've got some fantastic testimonials from that. Now, that's not the whole Lodestone package, but it's fundamentally what it's all about. And yeah, I've got these amazing things. People, one guy said, oh, I just found myself here by mistake, but my God, you're amazing. And somebody else said, I can't believe I feel so different in 20 minutes. We only do 20 minutes on the LinkedIn thing. And yeah, I've had a lot of really good feedback, which is why I've gone ahead and created it. And now I'm looking for test rats, really, to try it out. And,
Is it a progressive over the 30 days? I know you recommend doing it for 30. Is it a progressive program, or is it the same recording each day that you just keep on repracticing each day?
No, it's progressive. Each recording is different. Okay. And so these are great questions, Zoe. You've got great questions. Just what I wanted. It's progressive because I actually, when I recorded the audios, did the practice for 30 days.
Right.
And I notated it. And I've written all about it, and it's all in the ebook. My actual experiment. With it. So each day I build in something new, or I recall something from a couple of days before. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly moving you forwards, and it's the same routine every day. So you get the natural sounds, then you get the introduction, how to sit, how to be, how to breathe. Then you get the new stuff, the unique recording guiding you through the three stages. Then you get the how to finish off and get back into the world, because that's key also. And then you finish off with the natural sound. So it's that we've established that kind of rhythm for every day. And yes, getting back into the world is really the key. My mindful moments pilot that I've done, and I've had people say, because at the end I always say, right, you've done the practice, now your breath is your anchor. It is anchoring you to now and here. Now and here are the only reality. The past, the future, just delusions, Your breath is anchoring you to now and here. Your lungs are constantly processing oxygen, retaining the nutrients, expelling things you don't need. Your heart is pumping beautifully in time, strongly, and your spine is lengthened, crown of your head going up, base of your spine going down into the earth. You are ready to look out into the visual world, and you will not get pulled out as easily. And you're looking from inside this amazing structure that we've got, an amazing system. The human body is 100% evolved, according to scientists. It will not get any better. But the mind and the spirit, sadly lagging behind, 10%, 11%, apparently, approximately. And that's just not me. That's, experts saying that. So, I think once you've done one practice, and somebody said this to me, I just did one day and I felt like a completely different person. So, of course, some people will go very quickly down because they're dying to get into their core. So we're just turning outward away from ourselves all the time. We need to turn 180 degrees in, because we've got every need right here in this amazing body. Yeah.
What's the youngest person you've worked with?
The youngest person. Oh, yeah. Now that's interesting. That's a good question too. You're great. The youngest person is a really amazing Indian guy who always joins for mindful moments, and he is he's starting out as an entrepreneur. He's 19. In fact, I'm going to talk to him about Zinzino. He's given up his university degree. He's determined that is about his own business. He's 19, and he said this was superb, and he's listening to it all the time. The live is at a certain time, but he said, I just go back to the recording all the time, and I absolutely love it, and don't stop, and this kind of thing. So I'm putting all this together. I've got it together in a report. And I've got a few people who have started to use it, and I'm in touch with them, and I'm going to get lots of stuff from them too, so I can really support it. Right. Well, this is good. This is superb. I'm sure. Well, I'm sure I can see you've got lots more questions, but I know that you're very busy people, and you've got to get on and.
We do have a meeting. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Talk to you for much longer.
We'll reconvene on this. It's very, very interesting diving into this.
Good. I'm so glad you came. And, I'm here every Friday if you want to come and be live again or look at the live transmission. I'm just going to go on doing it.
we'll catch up on the other ones, because I remember you did the first one. I watched that one, so I'll catch up on the other two. So yeah,
Great.
One, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll put them.
That's a lot. What's the cost of purchasing a license or program, or how are you word it?
You can buy it for $9.95. I'm really selling out here, but I want people to try it, and that's for 10 days. So you can do it for 10 days. But of course, I recommend 30 days, and the 30-day license is $47.
Okay. I
So
like
it's
that
still,
you made it accessible.
Yes.
I like
yes,
that.
it's still, it's incredible value for money. I've been told it's crazy to offer it this price, but I just want to get people to use it in its first year, you know, and then I can really get some research and write some papers about it, and, you know, get it really up and running. So, yeah, I want as many people as possible. To be able to access it. So
okay, well, we've got to shoot,
Yeah.
but I'm very interested. I would challenge myself to do 30 days.
great.
That's what I want, and to document the changes within myself. So
Both.
yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That
all about
would be-
measurable things at the moment. So I'm working on myself a lot. So I'm very an advocate for mental well-being, a lot. So yeah, I've got people
that
that I
would
need
be
to help.
So you got 2 new students.
whoa, that would be
absolutely.
so brilliant, and especially if you like writing, because I really recommend that rather than type something into your phone, you use a
Yes.
pen and,
Yeah.
and a beautiful notebook. Yeah, I can tell you love that.
Yeah.
I really recommend that because
Sorry, you would go,
Yeah,
won't you?
sorry, I've got to go because I'm
Is
running
it-
over. They're waiting for me in my Zoom. I'm waiting.
Oh,
Got someone
shit.
waiting.
right,
for me.
go, and
No
I'll
worries.
be in touch very soon.
Have
Lots of
talking
love
to
to
you.
you,
Thank
and
you.
I'll be in touch
Bye now.
soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Zoe and Fitz for joining me today. That was such a great conversation. I love these questions, and this is really why I'm doing these Q&As, because I want people to ask these questions so that more people can learn about the whole thing. And I really want, as you know, I want to give access to everybody. So I'm really giving it away all month. Most. And I'd be very, very thrilled if you'd get on board, and then I can start to work with you in the Lodestone Sanctuary, which you'll get access to once you've paid. And then Lodestone 2 is on its way. I've actually started making it. And that's going to be rather different, but it's going to be the next stage, if you like. So please keep in touch with me about this. I'll be here every Friday. If you want to know more, I'm always available on DM. And gradually, now I've really affiliated myself with Zinzino, I'm going to be bringing in much more science from the Zinzino angle, and we're going to be charting how Lodestone and Zinzino balance oils work together. And we're going to write papers on that and really get it out into the arena of natural health. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it, and I'll be in touch very soon and see you next Friday. We're going to be working on the base chakra next Friday, which is your center of energy, and the whole tower of your spine depends on the condition of your base chakra. So please join me. I'll be advertising it during the week, and I'm always here at 9 a.m. on a Friday morning with this Lodestone Q&A. Thank you so much. I'm Lyndon Thorpe. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.